Well, still to come this Sunday, everyone has things they are afraid of. But how can you help your kids cope with those fears? We're talking to our friends over at Daniel Kids for ideas on how to talk with your kids about what scares them the most. That's next this Sunday. Well, we all have something we're afraid of. Spiders, maybe some height if you're up high. Natural disasters, the same applies for kids. It's not uncommon for kids to be scared of the dark or afraid that they'll get lost in a store. But how do you know when your child's fears are normal or when they may be turning into a bigger problem? It's a good question for parents. And Jim Clark, the president and CEO of Daniel and a licensed social worker, is here to talk about kids and fears and what you do as a parent to try and help your kids alleviate that fear.
You know, all people have fears of some sort. And those change over time, of course. And really, it's not a problem until it starts to interfere with their daily life. And I think parents understanding at what level their child has a fear and what age and what's appropriate just helps them also understand and be able to teach some coping skills. Because we all know dealing with fears will also be challenges later on in life that we'll be able to deal with.
And kids at different ages have totally different fears. Totally.
Totally. Babies tend to be, they need separation. You know, you'll look at toddlers who are between the ages of 10 and 18 months, and they tend to fear separation from their parents, animals, insects. Preschoolers, they're younger age children, 4 to 6, they'll kind of want to have fears of things that aren't real, the ghost and things like that,
and the boogeyman
in the closet, right. Stuff like that. And older children, 7 to 12, they're going to tend to really social situations and anxieties will produce those type of fears for them. Particularly, I always mention, too, adolescents. Adolescents fear social situations. They're going through some biological changes, and all of those create some fears in terms of what I'm going to do next.
Fear, who am I taking to the prom?
Fear of who, yes.
So what do parents do? What do they don't do, more importantly?
One of the most important things to do is be there for support, okay? As we were talking about, one of the things you don't want to do is ridicule or put down the fear itself. You know, you're a man, don't worry about that.
We were joking about my dad, of course, my all-star dad making fun of me as a teenager. But yeah, don't make fun of your kid.
You want to be careful of that. For an example, you don't want to say, oh, go ahead and pet the little dog, and suddenly the dog bites the child, which then makes a traumatic experience forever. So just be sensitive, make sure that you can talk about it, because talking about fear of any sort lessens it as a possibility. And the other thing is listen to the child. Don't overreact. If you have a fear of dogs yourself, you don't want to put that onto your child. You don't want to avoid the situation and walk across the street. So those are some of the things to do. Don't overreact. Make sure you're there for support. Have conversations about it. And those things will slowly over time will kind of go away. Now, if it becomes a part where it interferes with your child's daily living, then you might want to seek professional help.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who your kid is. Every kid has some kind of fear. That's right.
All children.